Alright guys, today we're going to answer the question, what's better, a stock Gen 3 or a Gen 2 with SDI E-Click? Hey guys, how do we keep it dirty off-road? And today we're going to do a quick comparison to see what's better, a stock Gen 3 or a Gen 2 upgraded with the E-Click system. We figured this is a good video to have because I think a lot of you guys have that question. Is it worth upgrading to the Gen 3 platform, or can you get quite a bit more out of a Gen 2 without having to spend all the cost and wait months and months and months that it takes to get a Gen 3? Early predictions, I think the Gen 2 stock with the E-Click system is going to be better. I know that the Gen 3 is better in every way from a suspension standpoint, but I still think the Gen 2 with that E-Click system with the much faster shocks is going to be better. We're going to find out because there is a difference in the shocks. The new Gen 3s, they can do calculations 300 times a second, but E-Click can do 500 times a second.
Correct.
So the question is, will that matter? And then second, who has the better strategy? Is the SDI system has a better strategy, or did Ford tune it down a little bit? So Wayne, what's your thoughts? Who do you think is going to be the better performer?
Well, I may be a little biased, but probably ours.
I would have to agree with you. Now we have Matt here. Matt, this is your Gen 3, right? This is a 2021. You just got this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a month ago.
You've driven this a while, right? You've taken it on trails already?
Yep.
What's your thoughts? What do you think is going to ride better?
I think the SDI system will still be better, but comparing to what the Gen 2 started with stock, I think the Gen 3 is a huge improvement.
Now you had a Gen 2, right?
I never had one personally,
Okay.
but I have time in them.
Okay. So what do you think of the Gen 2 compared to the Gen 3?
The Gen 3, they really improved the rear end. The manners of the coil rear end, the Ford Link, is much more mild, much more manageable. On the trails, it's a little more usable. It doesn't buck as bad, it doesn't wander. They've cleaned it up quite a bit, but I still don't think it's on par with the SDI E-Click.
Okay, so that's hopefully a question we will answer today. Now, you have basically a stock one, right? Kind of go over really quick, what are the options that you have on this thing?
It was a base model truck. All I added to it was the Torsen package to get the front diff, and I ordered the trailer technology package to get the trailer brake controller.
Okay,
Tow technology package.
And this is a 35-inch version, right?
Correct.
And no sunroof too, smart man.
Nope.
Very
Nope.
smart man.
And a bed liner, and that was it.
We're gonna do a couple of tests here today. The goal today is to test the different drive modes of the Gen 3, find the best drive mode, and then put it against the best performance of the SDI E-Click system. And you guys have seen plenty of times. We've already tested this truck out a few times, but we're still gonna rerun it again to show what's different. I'm coming from a Gen 2. The drive modes are different on the Gen 3, right?
Yes. In the Gen 3, you can control the shocks, the dampeners, you can control the steering, and you can control the exhaust independent of the drive modes.
So how many suspension modes do we technically have?
You have 7 of the drive modes and 3 in the shocks. Normal, Sport, and Baja.
Only be able to do fancy dash.
Let's go over just the drive modes, and those are selected down there, right?
Correct. Starts in normal, to the left, Sport, tow haul, and slippery.
So they kind of continue the tradition. Is to the left is street modes, to the right is off-road modes, right?
Correct. To the left, they're all two-wheel drive until you get to slippery, deep snow sand,
Okay.
Baja.
And then rock crawl. But you have independent modes after that. So let's go back to normal and let's go over just the suspension modes that you have. And those are selected on the steering wheel where you can just do just the suspension, right? That's the shock button right there. What are the 3 modes there? So you have normal, sport, and off-road. So there's like no Baja specific off-road mode?
The icon matches Baja with
Okay.
the cactus and the checkered flag.
Okay, so I think then today when we do the modes, let's go through all 3 and then let's do an extra one in Baja just to see if there's a difference. So we'll do 4 runs for your truck at 50 miles an hour.
Okay.
It's worth doing it differently in Baja because when we did the FRS live out testing, everything changed in Baja. Even the way the truck performed changed in
Yeah.
Baja. So I think that's the 4 we'll do.
Okay.
We'll do normal mode in each of the 3 suspension modes so that nothing else is interfering with the shocks. And then we'll do one in Baja, which is the most extreme mode, and see if that changes things. And we'll do those 4 runs, and then we'll do your truck.
The one in Baja is going to be the same as the one previous. It's just going to give you Baja steering, Baja exhaust.
So we'll hear it open up and be louder.
But I still want to do that test, because remember how much
Yeah.
the truck changed in Baja mode.
Oh, it
And it's
does.
like you don't want to use it in Baja mode because it interferes too much.
It also changes the transmission,
The
shift,
shift points.
mapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the RPM held.
Yeah.
It's a significant difference when you're driving.
It's huge. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get to testing. Now, before we get started, guys, I wanted to give you guys an overview of this track and why we picked it. And I hope it comes out on video. You can kind of see that it's a couple of whoops in quick succession, ending in this one, which is really big. And the reason why we pick it is because those whoops right there, those little bumps are going to really show you what the suspension does. But when it gets to here, it's going to overload the suspension and show us his limit. And that's what we want to capture. We want to capture that surprise scenario when you're going down a trail and all of a sudden you bottom out. We want to capture what the suspension does. It looks weird, man. All right, it definitely looks weird going down the trail, man. Let's go ahead and set up for the next one, which is normal off-road mode, right? Let's take a look at the drone footage. Hopefully you guys can see it too. Truck.
Which mode?
This is the second pass, so this is sport. So it looks better, but it's still, see how the back end goes in and the back end stays too stiff. The back end almost doesn't react at all.
But it doesn't translate into bucking.
No, which is good. It's good. It's limiting it going up, but it's not reacting, which that's super funky. And then let's take a look at, which one was Baja? Baja was the 4th pass. So this is Baja mode. There's that what you're talking about where it's doing funky things to the side.
Yeah.
See how it went off to one side? It looks like it stiffened up the left side and put all the weight onto the right side. Yeah, that's
Translated into roll.
that's weird, man. Why is it doing that?
And it kept doing that.
Yeah.
All the modes, it would do it at each mode.
All right, let's take a look at, this is normal, 50 miles an hour. And this one looked the slowest, by the way. Yeah, and it's doing every single mode. It's doing it. Whatever side is deepest, it overcompensates and stiffens it and puts it all on the other side.
Super stiff.
That's weird. That's gonna create some funky behavior though off road.
It's gonna feel weird for sure.
Yeah. So it's,
especially if you're in a rhythm section where you're just gonna keep hitting them over and over and over.
it's gonna keep going side to side,
Yeah.
and it's gonna make it feel worse. All right, let's take out your mode, Wayne, and see how you look through that little, because you jump. So you definitely look flatter through that section, but man, you took a jump there at the end.
So I was like 54 when I hit it.
See, yours is flat, and then you hit the jump. You
Yeah.
went farther left than normal.
Yeah, I did. I slid.
But I think that's the big key right there. Look how flat you are, and the back end is responding to keep you flat. Yeah, that's a big difference. So I don't know, in my mind, I think the SDI performed better just for the fact that you stayed flat, and flat is more predictable, way more predictable.
Makes you feel more stable in the seat.
Yeah, agreed. So what do you think, Matt?
I was impressed with the Gen 3 compared to what I've seen in the Gen 2 in the stock form.
Yeah.
But comparing it to what's possible, I'd like to see what we could do with the Gen 3.
Yeah,
So
that's-
you brought up a good point as we were watching that. There's no bucking. So it is doing its job to prevent the truck from pogoing, which is great because that's going to give you better control. But for whatever reason, even though the left side was the lower side, it's overcompensating and stiffening that side up and moving it all to the right side, which that is not predictable. That's going to feel funky on the drives.
Yeah.
And especially, like you said, rhythm section, doing it over and over again, that's
Yeah.
funky. And that could be just strategies, right? It's not responding as fast as you would expect it to.
Could be how the algorithms are written too. So if it feels
Yeah.
a dropout on that side, it's super stiff to compensate, but it could be overcompensating.
Exactly, and that's what it looked like. It's overcompensating, and unfortunately, it's overcompensating in every single mode, which I would expect Baja mode to improve that somewhat, and it didn't, right? Baja
Yeah.
mode, it reacted exactly the same. It maybe dampened it a little bit more. It didn't look as crazy,
Yeah.
but it still didn't dampen it enough, in my opinion, though.
Yeah.
When you guys did the original SDI system, you realized that Ford went a little conservative with the capabilities of the shock, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing here, right? Ford went conservative with the capabilities of the shock.
Yeah, I'm sure a revalve fixed the issues with the shocks, and that truck will be way better.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we do the SDI on it, it's going to be even better than that.
Yeah, agreed. Any final thoughts from you, Matt?
I'm looking forward to it.
So if you're out there looking to upgrade to a Gen 3 and you don't want to spend the money, look at eClick, man. SDI eClick on a Gen 2 will wake it up and it'll perform better than the stock Gen 3. On that same token, the system's very capable, so I can't wait to see what Dan and Wayne do with SDI eClick and the Gen 3 and really wake that thing up, because I think there's a lot of potential there.
Sure, we can put our secret sauce on it.
Yeah, and that's what it is, a secret sauce.
Yeah, make it better.
The oil and everything that you guys do. I can't wait to see you guys rip into that shock too, to see what you guys find and what you can improve too. And I know you're not going to release all that stuff because that goes into the secret sauce, but I'm sure there's going to be some surprises in that shock based on what we saw today.
Oh, absolutely. We've already kind of dabbled in the truck a little bit. We found that a lot of things have changed electronically. So it's going to take us a little bit time to get it all dialed in, but we will get it dialed in.
Yep. Be on the lookout for that, guys. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Hopefully this video helps you guys out there that are looking for a Gen 3 and maybe don't want to spend the cash. There are other options with the Gen 2 to make it really wake up. And I can't wait to see what SDI does with the Gen 3. Again, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thanks, Wayne, again for your help. Thanks, Matt, for sacrificing your truck again and letting us test with it. And we'll see you guys on the next one.